welcome back to Griffin Eye News. I am Gwen, and I am going to be your guest host for Griffin Eye News this evening. And joining me is the guy who is a lover of all things Northshield and a person who totally never said any bad things in Castel Rouge, his lordship Scald the Strife Maker. Hello,
Hi.
Daddy. How are ya?
Well, you know, springtime and middle-aged man thoughts turn to things that are wooden.
Oh, yes, lovely.
What did
It's
you think I
lovely.
was talking about?
You know what? I don't
Where's
judge.
your brain? I'm talking about my nice wooden cup.
So was I. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally what I was thinking as well. So it turns out that the thing you were thinking about is actually perfectly in line with our guest for this evening. We have joining us His Lordship Gabriel DeLion. Welcome, Your Lordship. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Gabe, how lovely to see you here in Avacal. How is Eastern Avacal?
I don't know, how is Western Northshield doing up there?
Haven't been there very often, but I hear it's nice this time of year.
Perfect. Well, since we're getting off on the right foot, we're going to jump right in. So how long have you been playing in the SCA?
I've been playing pretty much for the last 15 years.
Okay. And what got you started?
A love of swords, armor, and weapons, and found a website that I was cruising to buy some swords, and found a website that, have you heard of the SCA? And I went, what's the SCA? And started doing research and found a local group, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Huh, they have an event happening this weekend. 3 kilometers down the road from me. Okay.
It's hard to say no at that point.
Yeah, I was living just north of Gimli. Almost right at the site that Castle Rouge runs their Gimli event at. So it was, I showed up Saturday morning, and Sunday got put into one of the guys' armors who happened to hurt himself, got his armor on, walking to the field, and tripped and threw his shoulder out so he couldn't fight. And we went, oh, try him in my armor and let him do some slow work. And was hooked from there on.
It's a familiar story.
Rather like me, someone else getting hurt kind of got you into it.
Yeah.
The theme.
Excellent.
So that is quite the heap of wood you have in your lap there. Can you tell us about it?
Well, some of you may know I'm known well for my wood turning and some of my woodworking, and I just brought some of the different examples of stuff that oh yeah, there's a piece of mine.
Yeah, it's like I have some of it.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of the things you see on here are common items that I make, from bowls to, I've got some lovely calligraphy pens that a lot of the scribes know about. And one of the things that I've taken to doing is every time I meet a new king or queen who's reigning, I gift them a pen to present to a scribe that's helped them in their reign.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And some of you may not know, when Avacal became a kingdom, I donated a pen to the kingdom.
Aww.
That is actually used as the kingdom pen. It's made of bloodwood, which is a red color, a yellow heart, which is yellow, and gaboon ebony.
Beautiful.
So I haven't seen out much, but I have heard of kings and queens going, I've used that pen. Then one of the newer things I've started making are these guys, which, depending on who you talk to, they've got different uses. If you are a scribe, you can use it as a scribal stick. So what would happen is, there's documentation where scribes would, so you don't ruin your vellum, would write with their wrist on a stick.
So like a 14th century mouse rest.
Yeah, wrist rest,
Wrist rest.
whatever
Wrist
you
rest,
want to call it.
Yes.
Uh, but if you talk to the cooks, it's a spurtle.
Right.
And if you like Harry Potter, you can cast your spells.
There we go. Multi-purpose, really.
Yes, multi-purpose. Some of the other things that I'm very well known for, drop spindles for spinning
Yes.
wool. This one is Purple Heart. And my wife has many of them already, so I try not to let her steal them. And one of the fun ones for the rapier fighters, I make rigid parrying devices.
Aha.
Ah,
These are very common. If I've got one on me, which normally I do, and I find out that there's no rapier prize or something like that, these get donated quite frequently. I wouldn't be surprised if in comments we get people going, I have one of those.
So if you're a rapier fighter and you've been beaten with a stick, it's entirely possible it's your fault.
Yes,
Excellent.
but you wouldn't beat people with those sticks. It's more rigid parrying for blocking.
Fair enough. I don't judge.
now is that a candlestick on the front of your table there?
Right here or
Other
here?
side? Yeah, right there.
This?
Left
No,
hand, yeah.
the woodcarver's mallet
Ah,
Oh,
Oh.
so
used for chisel, or you can use it as just a regular wood mallet. It's one
Oh,
of the nice
okay.
little simple things that I do usually when I'm first starting out for the day, just trying to get in the groove.
right.
You make
so when you're turning wood, do you use a foot treadled lathe or
No, I don't use a foot treadle or a spring pull. I've got an electric lathe that I normally use, though I can go on length about history of lathes and usages of different lathes. So I won't bore you, but we're creating an anachronism.
Right.
Let's modernly do a medieval task.
Fair.
so kitty corner from the mallet? You did not turn that jar of spirits on a lathe, did you?
no, I did not.
That would be talent.
Some people, well, I might have mixed it on the lathe. Some people know me as a wood turner. Some people know that I'm also a feastocrat at times, and I cook. And some people know that I make booze. Well, I make in particular cordials
Mm-hmm.
and meads. This one, I grabbed a jar out of the fridge just because it hadn't been opened and it looks pretty. This one is peach strawberry gin cordial.
Can
Gwen
you
would hate
just
that.
put my name on that and like put it away, and then when we get to see it, yeah, for
Listen,
me,
it's
but
mine.
Oh. Oh, sorry, Gwen.
sad Gwen is sad.
Gwen knows that she finds me at events with a jar.
That's true.
I do know from experience sitting at the same table as Gabe can get you into tasting various experimental bits.
Yeah, because then I get influence from people going, yeah, I like that, but I didn't like this in it. Okay, well, if I tweak it this way, and I can make different flavors and fun stuff.
Perfect. So, what are some of the challenges that you've found being a skilled artisan?
Not being that skilled. I
Beg to
don't.
differ. Beg to differ.
I think it looks nice. I like it.
I don't find myself. I'm one of those people. I see the flaws in my work. Everyone else is, oh, it's beautiful. I'm like, I see that flaw. I see that flaw.
So truly an artisan then.
Yeah, I've been told that. But when it comes to projects that I do, like on the lathe and that, sometimes your wood just doesn't speak to you, if that makes any sense.
It does.
You try and turn and do something, and it just isn't cutting, and it just isn't doing what you want. And then you're just like, heck with this, and you throw it across the yard. Because up until this year, I was turning in my backyard.
Ah.
I now have a garage available, which this spring will be turned into a full shop, and I'll be able to turn year round. So, yay, and do other woodworking. But with that, yeah, I see my own flaws. People don't see it. And a lot of people, at least out here, I don't find it as much in Avacal,
Mm.
don't appreciate handmade the same way.
Interesting.
The
Well, if you
society,
love appreciation, we are the people for you. We
True story.
appreciate you and all you do, and
yeah,
that's another conversation. Uh,
I'm
and
referring,
speaking, go
I
ahead.
was
Sorry.
referring in the way that Manitobans are cheap. They don't want to pay for.
I would just like to point out who made that statement. It was not us.
I will fully admit to that. We are cheap. And that's the unfortunate thing, because a lot of the really nice artisans that are out here, you can't make a living off of it
Right.
because you can't sell it for what it is. It's, yeah, this took me 2 hours to do, and normally I charge X amount per hour. And people go, well, I can get my friend down the road to do it for a beer. And it's like,
Right. Then go
Well,
talk to your friend
yeah.
and
but yeah, that's what I meant by that statement.
yes.
I had to clarify that one.
That's okay. Clarity is good. So what are some of the perks of being an artisan and making all this wood and booze and
Well, when it
things?
comes to the booze, you get lots of friends. Let's make that one clear. A lot of people like coming and saying, hey, how's it going? Not knowing that I have booze normally, but
Mhm.
in the typical SCA fashion with a jar on me, it's like, hey, you should try this.
That might be how we first met, actually. I believe there was a jar that was passed. It was either peaches or cherries, and I'm not sure which one. It might have been both, quite frankly.
Could have been,
Everything's a little fuzzy after that. It's great.
could have been strawberries.
Ooh, possibly.
There are many possibilities, and many an interaction with Gabe has started with here, try this, and then things got fuzzy.
Truth. That's very true.
I'm a very friendly, sharing guy.
Do you have any favorite pieces that you have made in the course of your history?
Well, I'm honest. The Avacal pen was one of my favorites. That's why I brought it up. It's one of those. It's a piece of me is used in the kingdom since we've been out there enough and that. Trying to think. I made some of the gifts I've made for people in particular, like wedding gifts, or if I know someone really well and they're having a child, I do baby rattles.
Aww.
So, and I've had people bring the baby rattle back where it's been thrown on the floor and it's popped apart, and I'm gluing it back together. One couple kept bringing it to me, and I'm like, why is this so rough? Well, the daughter kept sucking on it because I use a beeswax-based finish on it, and the beeswax has a lot of. I use a natural, a local apiary. I get their beeswax from them, and it has a high sugar content still in it. So it's got a sweet honey smell to it, and she liked to suck on it. So I was like, every couple months, I'm like buffing the rattle.
So you make baby toys as well. That's good to know for any new parents out there. Baby rattles.
Yes, right there. He's the guy. He's the guy.
It's only if I like you, because it's about 5 to 7 hours of work.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because it's 3 different pieces that are specially fit
Right.
together, and it's not a small undertaking.
It's impressive.
Okay. So why wood turning? Why not, embroidery or armor smithing? Why wood turning?
I was a shops kid in high school. I was one of the only ones that was allowed to use the lathe because I was competent on it.
Mm-hmm.
And my Laurel is a Laurel for wood turning, and he was putting a lathe up. This is before he was my Laurel. He was putting a small lathe up for sale, and he posted about it, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in this. He's like, I'm coming up next weekend for the event. Why don't I bring it with me? And I bought it off of him then, and just because I remember having a lot of fun on it, and
Nice.
now I have 2 lathes and travel with the generator sometimes so I could run it at quad wars.
Fantastic. Completely different turn of conversation. What historical figure do you most identify with?
I have no clue. I don't identify with any in particular, really.
Just a general love of history?
Yeah, general love of stuff.
Okay. So we've talked about one of your major problems in life, which is you don't live in Avacal, and how do you handle that not living here?
I come visit a lot.
Well,
That's probably a lot of you have seen me at events and stuff like that.
I did not believe it when someone said you were from Northshield. Like, no, he's at every Avacal event. He's not from Winnipeg. Definitely not.
There are a lot of people that I've talked to and they've been like, oh, so where in Avacal are you? I'm like, oh, I'm from Northshield. And they're like, when did you move? I'm like, I didn't. I've always been from Northshield. And they're like, no, you're from Avacal. I've had arguments with people that I'm from Avacal. It's like, no, I'm not. And depending on the Royals have even been like, oh, where in Avacal are you? I'm like, I'm from Northshield. And they're like, no, you're not. You can't be.
And how do you argue with Royal? Really, you can't. It's not an effective use of time. They are right. So therefore, you must be from Avacal somewhere. See, Avacal East. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So tell us about the stash.
It's very common, especially with wood turners. We hoard and stash wood.
Sort of like fabric. I feel that.
I have, let's use an example of blanks for pens and the scribble sticks. I have a milk crate full, already prepped, ready to go.
Wow.
Of wood. And just you pick up, you're driving along the street and, oh, look, somebody cut a tree down. That's a nice branch. Can I take this? You should see the people that show up when a nice tree is taken down and someone puts on Kijiji or wherever, free wood, come take it. It's like, you can see the wood turners. They're like, this one, the branch. But
So
yeah, I've been driving down the street and see a guy, City of Winnipeg worker, cutting a tree down and stopped and gone, what kind of wood is that? And he's like, oh, it's an ash. You just want to make sure it's not elm because elm has Dutch elm disease and you're not supposed to use it for firewood. It's a problem here in Winnipeg. Oh, it's ash. Can I have some? Yeah, it's being ground up for mulch otherwise. Take all you want. It's like, in the truck. At one point, I kept a saw and a few different other tools just to break down pieces in the truck as I'm driving around until I got enough of a stash in the shed to go, yeah, I should be using better wood than this now. So I do store my own logs in that and break them down to use. But I do have some nicer places around to get some of the specialty woods to use.
Right.
Do you have a favorite wood that you deal with? Like you said, you don't like elm, you like ash. Is there like, if someone handed you like some cherry, you would be like in heaven?
Cherry's nice. Every wood has its own personality. An example would be like when you work with olive wood, it's actually, you need very sharp tools to do it, but olive wood has very large white and then little dark black fairly thick grains. The problem with it is the dark black stuff, that growth ring is very hard, whereas the white is very soft on olive in particular. So you'll have like a stuttering effect in your cuts because if you take too much off. Or whinge, which is a black wood. I've got some elsewhere with white grain. It's kind of the opposite of that. looks really beautiful, but is highly poisonous. And if you get a
Oh,
sliver in it of it, you need to go to the hospital because
Oh.
it will go septic.
wow.
Adds
Yeah.
an extra level of danger to that, and then, eh?
Yeah, it's the danger wood. I don't use it that often. It looks gorgeous. Don't get me wrong.
Super special occasions.
Yeah, super special things in that. But one of the favorite ones that I had that I've worked with is desert ironwood, which is a very dense hardwood, nice grain lines, but it cuts beautifully and it's silky smooth afterwards, and that. So
So, two-part query here. If someone wanted to get started in the SCA, what would you recommend? And then also, if they want to get started in wood turning, what would you tell them?
well, to get started in the SCA, find your local group to start with.
Yes.
Find out that's always the best. Talk to people. Find out what is the SCA. Is it where you belong?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. And
Absolutely.
where that comes from in my mind is a few years ago, I started work with the local Viking recreators and some of the LARP groups. And we actually kind of got together and had management meetings of our groups to talk about what do we do.
Right.
And we actually developed it into a cross gaming day where we'd actually all meet at one park and try what each other's games were.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and we were able to create a community. We've got a community going, and we still talk, not so much anymore due to plague,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
we were able to then kind of steer people to where they belong, where
Nice.
they're happiest. Like you've got people who go, oh yeah, I want to do true Viking, and I want to play with steel swords and that. And it's like, okay, then this LARP group that you're at,
Yeah.
they aren't kicking you out or anything,
No.
but they're going to contact the local Viking guys and go, hey, I got someone who might be better suited for you guys. Can I bring him down to your event? And they're like, yeah, sure. So then helping people find the activity that is best what they want.
Yep.
It's a really neat situation here in Winnipeg with how our groups are communicating in that way. And it's also comes into a safety aspect that if one player, due to legal reasons, shouldn't be playing in an area
Fair enough.
something,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
we actually have communicated that and gone, okay, not that we say you can't come play, but you
Right.
can't come play.
Safety is a thing, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, it's very interesting, and I am 100% going to steal that, just so you know. But totally connecting people with the people that are their people makes them
Mhm.
happier, and then they talk about all of the things, and is just beneficial all the way around. So I love that concept. It's great.
Yeah, and it was kind of neat to have 3 different LARP groups and the SCA and the Viking recreators all show up at an event
Yeah, sounds
That would be
amazing.
something.
to play each other's games. So
Right.
you've got Viking recreators grab foam shields and boffer weapons and form up a line, charge towards, start advancing towards a line of guys, and the LARP archer takes out somebody's leg, and they're like, does that mean I kneel down? They're like, yes. They're down there, and then some little mage runs up and goes, ice ball, hits the big Viking guy in his shield. He's like, what does that mean? You're frozen in place for this long. Well, that sucks.
You learn to dodge a little faster, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, it's quite humorous to see stuff like that, but everyone having fun doing
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to get involved in wood turning, what are your recommendations there?
Find someone who does it and try it. Most wood turners are fairly open to going, yeah, sure, come to the shop. Let's get you on a lathe. Let's get you to try it. I'd rather you try it before you drop
Right.
hundreds of dollars into an event. It's like you should try archery, rapier, or heavy before you go buy all this gear to go do it.
Yeah.
Because it's an investment, and there are a lot of entry level tools and that you can get on Kijiji and that cheap to start with, even if it gets you through a year or two, and then you can build up stuff from there.
Okay.
Very nice.
Fair.
So what other aspects of the SCA do you engage in? We know you're into the making of the things. What other things do you do?
I do all the things. That's pretty much how I am in the SCA. You will see me flittering around, helping at gates, doing service-minded aspects. I met my wife at dance practice. I used to do archery, not so much since my bow got broken. Archery, heavy. I do melee, combat melee and heavy. I'm known for my spear, the pig sticker, my boar spear.
You stab people on the second level of the castle with that thing.
Yeah, or steal a crossbow, which is mine. Thanks, Henry. And I do rapier combat. So with that one, I'm kind of excited that they've now started bringing in spears, because heavy spearmen given rapier spear. The giggle on my face when I found that out.
I somehow believe that's entirely accurate.
Yeah. Like I said, I do all the things. I've feastocrat, I've run events, I've been seneschal here. I'm a marshal, heavy marshal. I'm the group heavy marshal, social media officer.
Nice.
The list just goes on of all the stuff I do.
I feel like there's a lot of hats in your closet. A lot of hats.
And to expand on that, there. What's the most interesting thing about Gabe?
About Gabe?
Yeah. Gabe, Gabriel.
Most interesting thing about me, you know me, I'm fairly laid back and bubbly in that, but if you tell me you want a serious conversation, I will have a serious conversation. If you need to bounce stuff off of me, I'm more than happy to listen, but I play devil's advocate. And
Okay.
I have to warn people about that. I've had people they're talking to me all serious, and I'm like, well, what about this? What about this? And they're like, well, you're not taking my side. I want you on my side. It's like, no, I want you to see their side too. I'm on your side, don't get me wrong, but my brain goes, yeah, this, but I'm also a little ADD, and I'm like, ooh, squirrel.
So if you could live in any group in Avacal, which would it be, and when are you moving there?
I would not be moving there, unfortunately. I have a very nice job here, a new house, a family. I know so many people want me to move there, but unfortunately I can't. But we're in Avacal, I want to be anywhere there's an event. Like, I love you guys, and I'm out there all the time, and that Quad War has always been one that I think we've missed one in 12 years. And the only one we missed was because I threw my back out at work and couldn't drive it.
That would do it. That would definitely do it.
Yeah.
So for the last year and a bit, we've been participating in the ESCA. Are there any aspects of the ESCA you would like to see to continue go forward once things get back to being having events and getting together again?
A lot of the video meetups or social rooms at like having ANS events that have lots of classes that anyone worldwide can just show up to.
Right.
Has been really great. And that getting to meet people in social rooms. But yeah, we all miss the personal contact, which unfortunately you can't send a proper hug over ESCA. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not very fulfilling.
Yeah, but that side of the ESCA, and I really like the idea of having folk moots and that sort of a thing, as at least having someone at the folk moot who can put everything on Zoom so that those that can't be physically there. An example is we've got a few members in Shiloh, Manitoba, who that's a 2-hour-ish drive.
Yep.
So they can now come to folk moot by just flipping on their phone and yeah, I'm here.
Right.
And they can have their thoughts and voice heard from a distance.
That's awesome.
Okay. You touched on a little town that's named after a dwarf in the Lord of the Rings, or maybe it's the other way around. Gimli. I understand there's a rather interesting event that happens there that unfortunately conflicts with Avacal Crown. But any tales of the greatness that is Gimli?
Gimli is Castle Rouge's big event of the year. It normally happens, as Skeld said, over September long weekend. It is at a campground where they've got cabins and beds available as part of your fee, so it makes it real easy to come to. You
Yeah.
don't need to lug out a lot of camping gear, but it's on the side of the lake, and some of the funness that happens there is a lot of people like Baron Robbins' beachside party that he puts on, aka fire arrows into the lake. But that's a private party open to anyone off-site. So
It's a private public party.
yeah.
Yes.
You have to bring your own fire arrows, or are they provided?
They're provided.
Ooh.
A lot of people bring their own bows. It's fun. We comment that we are shooting the stars back in the sky.
Aww.
Oh,
It's a lot of fun to see that, and sometimes we get the Northern Lights going on. But Gimli is a very laid-back event,
Nice.
to the point where usually there's no set time for fighting. It's somebody gets energetic and puts their armor on, and the other fighters go, sure, why not? Or you look up on the deck of the one building and go, oh, the Dukes are into the Scotch already. They aren't fighting today.
quick pride tournament.
Oh yeah, it's a very fun event. A lot of people, once they've come once, they're like,
Right.
I've got to come back every year. It's also for Northshield. It's the last event before our coronation. So
Okay.
any kings or queens find it as, because it's so laid back,
Yes.
and take it easy and get that. They're at an event and they get to be the
Royal.
Royals for one last event,
Right.
but it's a breather. It's a relaxed event.
Yeah.
No 12 hours of court at Gimli.
No.
No, there's no 12-hour court, but we've taken to using the it's a Ukrainian Catholic camp that we use, and they've got a beautiful 100-plus-year-old church with all the iconography in the front and everything that they allow us to hold court in.
That
Oh,
sounds good.
nice.
So it's a beautiful hand-built church that
Yeah. Fantastic. So are you currently in service to anyone?
I am apprentice to Master Bayard the Turner, and I am a protege to Beataka the Beataks.
Beautiful.
We know that guy.
We do.
Yes, you do.
And I see some beautiful things. Speaking of beautiful things, I see some beautiful banners behind you. Can you tell us about them?
The Griffin and these two right here are the Kingdom of Northshield Populous badge. This one is my heraldry,
Yeah.
and if you look way over here is Amy's, except we need to repaint it because when she went to register, she could not have the blue as a background. She had to have red. but
Alright.
the griffin with the peacock's tail passed.
That's fantastic.
That is, yeah. I was kind of looking at that, wondering what it was. But okay, so it's a griffin with a peacock's tail.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
So, as a person who's been in the SCA more than 6 months, what changes have you seen in the SCA since you started?
I'm not even sure. I've flittered around so much that I can see a lot more, at least from what I've seen in Castel Rouge aspect. When I first started, I was actually told, yeah, you don't go to other kingdoms. That's just rude. And that. And I kind of broke that rule a little bit.
Just a little.
But once I realized, and that stemmed from bad history with that
Sure.
person and other groups. So, and I was new in the SCA, didn't know any better, so
Right.
I didn't go. I only stayed in my kingdom. And then I got asked to go to Whipping Winds.
Ah,
When I was a guardsman for Rymar the Third of Artemisia.
oh.
I have weird stories, believe me. We'll not go into that one though, other than I was made a guardsman. And his one stipulation was I needed to come to one Artemisia event. And that was the closest one that I could arrange.
Yes.
So I drove 14 plus hours to get there with 2 non-Scadians who just came for let's go camping.
Nice.
Little did they know what they were in for. And went there, and that was my first time going out of kingdom and then meeting Avacalians,
Right.
and went, you mean I'm allowed to go out there? And they're like, no, you can go wherever you want. I'm like, sold.
Perfect.
There's a whole big world out there.
There is a big world, absolutely. Do you have any favorite memories or moments that you'd like to share with the Griffin Eye News audience?
Some of the most recent one was both myself and Amy, my wife, Nadra, received the society level award for the, I can't even remember what the name of it is, the online presence
Yes.
service stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's
we-
that one.
yes, we were presented that, but unfortunately it wasn't in court or anything.
Right.
It was drive by, drop off. But we had both been having a hard week and a bad day, and we were told there's something in the mailbox for you. And we opened it up, and from our Baron and Baroness had dropped it off, and we're like, Amy's like, what the heck is this?
Right.
You feel the metal in it and that, and she's like, it's a page and something in the bottom, and it clicked what it was, and I just started crying. Both
Yep,
of them.
all of the tears.
Just all that we had done, and just like, this is why we do it. Just not for the recognition, but just for the others.
Yes.
And that's a lot of the service and things I do. It's so that I'm in the background, like chicken with head cut off type thing, and bouncing around. And no touchy.
Nothing went smash. It's all good.
Chicken with a head cut off, so that the others can enjoy.
Right.
And that's, if you see me at an event, I do a lot of things so that others can have fun.
Perfect. It's beautiful. Any final comments for Avacal, for Northshield, for the known world?
If you ever see me at an event, come say hi, talk to me. I'm not that scary. I might have a jar with me. Or if, depending on at the event, depending on the events, I actually have been known, as I said, to bring a lathe with me and a generator if there's no power, I know.
Right.
And I'm always happy to go, yeah, let's set it up. It takes me about 10-15 minutes to set up, get ready, and let's do some teaching. One-on-one teaching. I have taught 5-year-olds to turn. I had a young lady at the last Quad Wars during the Artisan Days walk
Right.
by as I had my lathe set up, going, oh, that's really cool. I can't touch that. I'll hurt myself. I'm like, let's do it.
Nice.
Challenge accepted. And I heard later that she called her husband and said, yeah, I was using a power tool. And he went, oh God, how much did you hurt yourself? And she's like, no, I made a pen.
That's
And
awesome.
was like, as I understand it, I was told this. She was like, can we get a lathe?
That's
I'm like,
fantastic.
Excellent.
New friends. Exactly. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is
You're welcome.
lovely to see your face. We
It's
are certainly missing you in Avacal and can't wait till we can all get offline and get in person again. And from us at Griffin Eye News, thanks so much, Skeld, as always, for being my cohort. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.